Over the last month or so, I have tried making my very own kombucha. Let's hope it doesn't explode in my face. Historically, I never really liked kombucha, but recently I've actually been gaining a bit of a taste for it and really enjoying it. Now here I am, putting in all the time and effort to make my own kombucha brews at home. Why? Well, because it takes a bit of time, patience, and research, but making your own kombucha at home works out way cheaper than buying it at the store. Because it's my first time, I decided to buy this kit that includes everything I need. Tea and sugar, the jars and cloth to cover them with, this little thermometer sticker, pH strips, the guidebook on how to do everything, and most importantly, this little SCOBY and starter liquid. The first thing that we need to do is to brew some sweet tea. The guide suggests using 9 black tea bags to 150 grams of sugar, and this is where I made my first mistake. I put in all 18 black tea bags that came with the kit without thinking, but I realized my mistake very quickly and took out half of the bags before I left the tea to brew. Once your tea has cooled down to room temperature, about 22 to 24 degrees, you can pour it into your jar and move on to the next step. It was at this point that I realized that my tea was still a little bit hot for the SCOBY and I didn't want to risk killing it, so I gave it a little extra while to cool off and adding some ice. And then it was at a good temperature to finally add the SCOBY and starter liquid to the rest of the tea, and then you just stick it in a dark corner and wait. Now, in the guide that came with the kit that I bought, it said around 7 days is when you should start tasting and seeing if it's ready to go for second fermentation. But around 7 days for me, it just still kind of tasted like sweet tea, not even a little bit of a tang. But a SCOBY was forming across the entire top of the liquid, so I knew that things were progressing, it just needed some more time. And finally, on day 14, I decided it was time to start second fermentation. This decision came purely based on the taste. I don't know what it was with the pH strips, whether they're just bad strips or if I don't know how to read colors properly, but from day 7 to day 9 to day 14, I could never tell the difference in the color. It always looked exactly the same to me, but the taste was definitely progressing. I think it's ready. And that's why, purely based on the taste, day 14, I didn't want to leave it any longer. It was time for second fermentation. For my flavorings, I chose to do some raspberry because that was the first kombucha flavor I ever really enjoyed. And then strawberries looked really good too. So I got some of those and I ended up making a brew that was just strawberry, one that was just raspberry, one that was strawberry and raspberry because I had some leftover puree, and then 2 that were just plain kombucha, just to see how it tastes right out of the jar. All I did to get them into a nice puree was I threw the fruits into the blender with just a little bit of the, if you want to call it raw kombucha, just to get things going and into a liquid that I could nicely pour into the bottles. After a quick blitz up, I just poured those flavorings into the bottle, of course topped up with kombucha, and then sealed them right up and back into the dark corner for a little more waiting. And after another 3 days, it was finally time to give it a taste. I mean, it's definitely carbonated. That's good. Oh. It's not as carbonated as I thought it was going to be. It is good though, actually. It's definitely kombucha. It's not as strong as some kombucha I've tasted. Definitely got that kick though. Definitely has some flavor. It's definitely got color. But the flavor isn't as strong as I thought. Still just kind of tastes like sweet berry-ish kombucha, but I mean, for the results of some of the other brews, they were not nearly as carbonated as that first one that I tried, but they were still good. They had the kombucha kick, a bit of the taste from the raspberries in the raspberry flavored one. The plain ones also had a good taste, they just really didn't carbonate at all. I think those ones definitely needed some more sugar, but also the glass bottles that came with the kit, the rubber seals that go on top, didn't seem to really seat properly no matter how much I tried. They seemed to be a little small for those glass bottles actually, and they leaked quite a bit, so carbonation probably leaked as well, so that's probably a problem too. However, I did really like the taste of them. And something else I wanted to note is that it was really hot on the first day of the second fermentation. And so I think the one that had raspberry and strawberry in it actually ended up becoming slightly boozy. I didn't get drunk or buzzed or anything off of this drink, but there was just that little warm feeling in the chest, you know, that it made me feel like it was a little boozy, but it was just that one, probably because it had a lot of sugar, and they say also the higher the heat, the quicker things happen, and that could cause it to be a little higher in alcohol content. Overall, I am really happy with these results for my first try. I will definitely be spending an unnecessary amount of money on this hyperfixation in the future to allow me to control more of the stages of the brew and test things properly, like the pH, sugar levels, and also the alcohol level. So yeah, you can definitely look forward to seeing more kombucha videos in the future. I did not mean for that to rhyme. See you guys in the next one. Goodbye.